Saved 85. What's up? Call me Primo. How you doing? Gonna get started here in the next minute or two. Michael, how you doing? Gonna give it one more minute to let some other folks join in. AG Lewis, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, the first question I want to ask before I jump into this pre-market prep is a quick pop quiz, if you will, just a quick pop quiz. Obviously, the strategy that I use is called the breakout and retest strategy. And I want to ask, is this an example of the break and retest? And if yes, just state why you believe it is. And if no, state why you believe it isn't. All right. Again, the question is this an example of the break and retest strategy? All right. Setup, excuse me, setup. And if it is, please state why you believe it is. And if it isn't, please state why you believe it is not. All right. And then I'm going to come back to this at the end of the segment. And also tell me if you believe this is would be considered an A plus setup. All right. And then I'll talk about the definition of an A plus setup at the end of this segment as well. All right. So today, Tesla is up 2.31% in the pre-market today. Friday, we closed down 1.83% at 302 and change. All right. So a lot of news was taking place last week for Tesla. But coming into the market today, it's up $6 and change. Tesla's board approved Elon's compensation package. I think it was, let's see. Oh, we actually have it here. Granting him 96 million in shares. 96 million in shares. And the shares rose 2.5% to 310 in the pre-market. We're currently down from 310 to 308.93, but we're still up a little over 2%. So yeah, that's crazy. So congratulations to him. Must be nice to be sitting on so much money. All right, so let's take a look at scheduled red and orange folder news for today and see what we have here. Let me zoom in. Forex Factory. All right, so we did have CPI at 1:30 a.m. This is Central, by the way. This would have been 2:30 a.m. Eastern. So core CPI remained neutral. All right. The forecast was negative 0.2%, but we came in neutral. All right. Let's see. No other red folder or orange folder news scheduled for today. So today is pretty clear. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look at any Tesla specific news that might have dropped recently. Let me refresh my screen. Let me zoom in. All right. Let's see. I'm just going to quickly skim over these headlines here to see if I see anything that sticks out that could impact Tesla coming into the market session today. All right. We just talked about that. Tesla approves 23 billion stock award for Elon Musk. Congrats for him. Let's see. Tesla jumps as Musk pay package approved. These stocks are moving. Da da da. Tesla brand loyalty collapse after Musk backed Trump. Data shows. Tesla approved CEO. Now we know about that. Stock. Nope. Tesla approved CEO. Da da da. Tesla raises in 2 hours. Tesla put. Interim award will be forfeited or returned if Delaware courts fully reinstate 2018 award. Let's see. Restricted shares subject to must paying purchase. So this is just about his shares. All right. So far, I don't see anything that Musk on Robotaxi in Chicago says Tesla will operate there as soon as we reaffirm safety testing. Let's take a quick peek at this. Musk on Robotaxi in Chicago says Tesla will operate there as soon as we reaffirm safety testing in that locale and receive license to operate. This is the same thing that they are waiting for in California, right? Tesla has the hail the ride hailing service or ride sharing service that is running currently in San Francisco, I think it is San Francisco, California, but California has not granted Tesla the permit or license to offer the robotaxi service. All right, so they're still waiting for that. So that puts a little bit of a pause on Elon's plan to aggressively launch this robotax service across the nation. All right, so coming until today, what I'm looking for. Let's talk about what I'm looking for Tesla. All right, so if you want to follow along, I'm currently on tradingview.com, tradingview.com. You don't need to create an account to follow along. You can actually just jump over to tradingview.com, click on the search field, punch in TSLA, and that will bring up the chart. Be sure to select the option that has NASDAQ to the right of it, right? All right, so once you select Tesla, just jump over to the 15-minute time frame. As you can see up here at the top, you got the one starting from the far left, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15. I'm on the 15-minute time frame. And I want everyone to take a look at this because coming into today, here's what I'm looking at. What we want to do is draw out a couple of key levels. Currently on my screen, I have the two yellow lines. They represent the pre-market high and the pre-market low. Let me activate my drawing tool really quick. So we have the pre-market high and then the pre-market low. The next set of key levels I have marked out is the previous day high and the previous day low. All right, this is from Friday. Excuse me. Let's see. Actually, sorry, this is from Thursday. So today, if you see, this was Friday's high, right? So we're currently in range within Friday's high, right? So what I'd be looking for coming until today, let me clean this up really quick. What I'd be looking for coming until today is a break above the pre-market high, which is currently 311 and change, 311.35. I'm going to talk about a couple of scenarios really quickly, and then if anyone has any questions, I'll pause and then answer any questions that you may have. But really quick, I don't know if you all can see this on your screen. Let me zoom in really quick on TikTok Live. Make sure you all can see this. Let me zoom in. Hopefully you can see this. This is Friday. Again, I'm on the 15-minute time frame, which means every candle on this particular chart is 15 minutes in duration. Every candle on this chart is 15 minutes in duration. This is Friday's highs. This is Friday's lows. And notice the wick on this candle here, this up close bullish candle here. This is where I would have liked last week. I didn't catch this last week, but this is ideally where I would have liked to enter a position for a long-term position. Let's say, maybe like a month um, toward the upside. Because this would be considered AKA a swing trade. Um, a swing trade. All right. So you can take a swing trade for a couple of days, a week, especially if you don't have time to day trade, which is to enter a trade with the same day and exit that trade, or excuse me, enter a trade and then exit the trade the same day. That's what day trading is, essentially, right? But if you don't have the time to day trade, you can enter these longer term positions. It could be a couple of days out, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years. It's just up to you. It's just depending on the particular stock that you're interested in, that you're following, keeping track of, and seeing where it takes a dip. Obviously, you can see that we had this dip here since July 28th, right? Since July 28th, we had this, oops, we had this fall here since the 28th. And so this is ideally what you're looking for. Stocks are always going to dip at some point. They're always going to dip at some point. They're never going to just continue higher. If that was the case, then no one would ever be able to invest because it'd be out of range, right? So ideally, I would have loved to get into a long-term position, even if it was just for a week, to capture even this move here. Let me show you why really quick. This point, the price at this point is $2.99. So let's just round up to 300 even, 300 even. This $10 move, this is a $10 move from here. If we were to enter here to here, this is a $10 move. That's significant money, okay? That's significant money. All right, we're talking, depending on the size of your position, if you even took just one contract, that could have been a couple of $100s, with that $10 move. If you took a larger position, let's say 2 to 10K, then we're talking a couple of $1,000s, all right? So yeah, that would have been ideal. And then if we continue today pushing towards the previous day high, because currently we're sitting around the 311. If we pushed higher towards 321, that's another $10. All right. So and that could happen within 2 days. That could be a $20 move in 2 days. And so you can see the value of your one, even if you just bought one contract, it would grow exponentially within 1 or 2 days. Let me clean this up. All right, so what I'm looking for coming until today, if you take a look, again, I'm on the 15-minute time frame. If we take a look here, here's what I'd consider this to be consolidation. So I would ignore this. I'd box this in and ignore this. So I'd be looking for a breakout above this level. And we did that in the pre-market. You can see, look at this strong momentum here. Let me zoom in so you can see. This is a nice bullish candle here. We gapped up in the pre-market. The pre-market opens at 3 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. Eastern. All right, look at this strong bullish candle here. So we gapped up. Not only did we gap up, but we continued with an aggressive push by buyers, right? From buyers. And so this is ideal. So we broke above this consolidation. I would just consider this consolidation. Notice this is Friday's activity. This is Friday's activity. So we started here. If we box in the high point that the price rose and the lowest point, the price fell. Everything in between is chop. You can consider that noise and just ignore it. All right. For the break and retest, we're looking for activity either above, a break above the consolidation or that noise, or a break below that noise. All right. So we did get that so far in the pre-market. So coming into the open today, what I'd be looking for is an aggressive push on from buyers to push this price above the pre-market high. All right. And then what I'd be looking for is a pullback towards this key level. If we have buyers step in at this point, You know, like I said, I've pointed this out several times. If we have a nice aggressive bullish candle like you see here, if we see that push, you can look to enter a position at this point. This is what I'd be looking for at the open, right? So nice aggressive push by buyers, breaking above the pre-market high and a pullback towards the pre-market high, and looking for buyers to hold this price range, make sure we don't fall too far below. It's okay if we break a little bit below this, that's fine, as long as we don't break too far below this level here, because this is where I like to see. This would be the last line of defense, right? Last line of defense, this line that we have marked out here. But if we can hold this pricing zone between 309.23 and let's just say 311.35, okay, 309.20, 309.25 and 311.35. All right. So within this pricing range, I'd like to see buyers hold this position. If we get buyers stepping in aggressively to push the stock price higher, this is where we could look to potentially enter our position, which is what I've drawn out here. All right. Will we look to exit? I talk about this every pre-market prep. What we're looking for, we're just rinsing and repeating. All right. High of day. This could be your target, your initial target. You can look to exit your position entirely, or you could just simply scale out depending on the number of contracts you're able to, afford given your budget. All right. But if you can only buy one contract, this is where you would look to exit your position. All right. High of day. Now let's talk about what else we could see. Tesla, given the news, we could see a really aggressive push, and I'd be checking the reaction off the previous day high. Will buyers continue to push the price higher, or would we reject off of the previous day high and then make our way towards the pre-market high again? This is what I'd be looking for. Let me see. Let me pause. I do see a couple of questions. Milky, what's up? Glad you joined. Everyone else, thank you all for joining and appreciate the likes and the love. Let's see. How do you learn to start trading, including using Trade Locker, and learn all the terminology? That's a good question, Milky. What I like to say to everyone who is especially new, for all the newbies who are interested in trading or day trading, is that you don't have to learn. There's a lot to learn when investing, period, right? But in the context of day trading stock options, there's a lot to learn. But what I like to say is that you don't have to learn the A through Z before you become profitable. All right. You don't have to learn A through Z before you become profitable. That's all the terminology. That's the various terms, setups and things of that nature, because there's thousands of strategies that you could choose from. You only need one strategy. You only need to select one stock and focus on learning the behavior of that one stock, and just making sure you're practicing trading that stock, journaling your paper trades, right? Because you could practice risk-free using paper money. Every brokerage offers this. And just journal your trades, and you can keep abreast on your performance and, proceed from there. The only thing you need to start with is find one mentor, find one stock, find one strategy. And obviously the mentor you select is going to give you the strategy. They'll talk about that strategy in detail. So hopefully that answered your question. If you need a little bit more detail, just let me know and I will provide more depth. Oh, you said, thank you for breaking it down. No worries. You're welcome. Let me scroll up, make sure I'm not missing anyone else. Hey, what's up, LJ? Yo, that interview was crazy. That interview with Scarface was crazy. I loved it. Loved it. I actually created a profile given that interview because I saw a similar interview with Scarface. I think it was last month. And but after the interview, after watching the interview yesterday, I decided to create a profile on Scarface and add it to the free community so everyone could take a look at it. If I pull that up, I'll just pull it up really quickly just so everyone can see. Let me pull it up, jump over here, and let me zoom in. So yeah, I added that profile so everyone can see because, oops, let me scroll up. Yeah, so talked about his background, his journey, to let people know, a little bit about why I chose him as my mentor, given his background in finance and economics, how long he's been day trading, the fact that he's a verified trader, all of that. So yeah, that was a lovely, I appreciated that. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, because I was meaning to check it out and I almost forgot. So let's see. I don't see any more questions. So yeah, let me go ahead and continue. Yeah, very good info to add. Yeah, no doubt, definitely. So let's see. Getting back to Tesla. All right, so yeah, I'd be checking the reaction. I'll be checking the reaction off the previous day high, and if we pull back, same thing. We rinse and repeat, just like I talked about with the if we broke above the pre-market high, looking for a retest. But here, what I'd be looking for, because let me show you this really quickly. If we do aggressively push up, where would I be looking to enter my position? Well, I'd be using these down close in the break and retest. What you're looking for is continuation, right? Momentum, continuation, uh, depending on which direction we're trending, right? Whether it's trending up or trending down, it doesn't matter. We make money either way. All right, let me draw these more cleanly. Okay, what I'd be looking for is not a break of structure, right? I don't want to see this after we make an aggressive push up higher, right? I don't want to see that. What I'm looking for is because we don't want to chase price either. So if buyers step in aggressively right at the open, we don't want to just kind of try to jump in, because with Tesla, well, this is Tesla, and I've been watching Tesla for a year now, all right, since 2024. Tesla can reverse on you very quickly and wipe you out, all right? So you don't want to jump in and chase price with Tesla. That's why I said you definitely want to learn the behavior of the stock you're interested in. For me, Tesla, I know a lot about Tesla, and Tesla will reverse or can reverse on you very quickly and wipe out your entire position. So you don't want to chase price. All right. What you want to do with Tesla is simple. All right. If we have this nice aggressive push by buyers toward the upside, towards the previous day high, we'd be looking for the reaction near this zone, And it's very simple. All right. These dips here are your down close candles. These represent your down close candles. And I'd be looking for a retest back towards, the most recent down close candle. All right. So I'd be looking for a pullback in that zone, in this pricing zone. If we don't get an entry at the open, this is what I'll be waiting for, the re-entry, the an entry point after a pullback, from the this aggressive move toward the upside. All right. So once we pull back, and we call these, I'll give you the term, and you can look this up. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Google. These are called order blocks. All right. And depending on the time frame that you're on, I'm going to give you a very simple explanation. It depends on the time frame that you're on. If you're on the 15-minute chart, then the down close candles you would be drawing out would be the 15-minute order block. All right. If you're on the 5-minute time frame, then those down close candles would represent the 5-minute order block. And if you're on the 1-minute time frame, then those candles would be the 1-minute order block. And I can show you this Friday as an example. Okay, I'm just going to show you this as an example. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Pull this up. Okay, if we take a look at my drawing here, this represents an uptrend, right? So if I use these candles, these sequential candles here, to represent an uptrend, right? Notice the pullback. Notice the pullback of these 3 down close candles. All right. This is what you would draw out. This is what we want to see. And I'm going to show you this in this example here. What we want to see is continuation. So if there is pullback after continuation, right? So we had this a nice initial push, and we had a pullback, and then we had a nice further push, and then we had pullback. We don't want to see the pullback break below this level here, right? This is the most recent pullback in this trend, and it's the only pullback in this trend. So we don't want to see the pullback break below it. As you can see, it did so here. This will be considered a break of structure. All right. We don't want that. We want continuation. So we want a nice pullback towards this level. It can reach the top. It can reach anywhere. It could tap the top. It can reach within range, within the middle of this range. So we draw out the high and then the low of this pullback. And then we're just looking for a pullback anywhere. We could tap that top. We can, stop anywhere in the middle, or we could tap, at the bottom somewhere. But we don't want it to break below it. We don't want it to break below it. We can wick below it. That's fine. We can wick below it, but we don't want strong candle closures like this to close below that level. All right. That would be considered a break of structure. We want a nice clean structure as I represented here in this drawing. Let me, pull this back, pull this down. All right, so that's what we'll be looking for, the reaction off of the previous day high. If we do pull back, we're looking for continuation. We'd like to see buyers continue to hold this pricing level for continuation higher. All right, let me get rid of this. All right, the final scenario, which could happen as well, is we could continue very heavy at the open. And what I'd be checking for is the reaction off of the pre-market low. All right. Same thing, rinse and repeat, looking for a pullback towards the pre-market high. We look for sellers to step in aggressively with weak price action. What that looks like, let me show you a demonstration of that type of candle, right? Weak price action. It can look like this candle here. This candle here, we can see a nice wick showing that buyers tried to push the price higher, but sellers stepped in aggressively and pushed the price lower. All right. So we can see a candle like that. We can see a candle like this. Oops, that's terrible. We can see a candle like this. Or a nice bullish candle like this. Or excuse me, not bullish, bearish. So if we see that candle, we can look to enter position here, where we look to exit, especially if you only have one contract, low of day. All right. Same thing if we have an aggressive push by sellers and we just drop heavy right at the open towards the previous day low. All right. What we want to see is the reaction off of the previous day low. Are buyers going to step in, or are sellers going to continue to step in aggressively to push the price higher? And same thing, right? If sellers do continue to push the price lower, we look for the reaction. Let me pull this up a little bit. Oh, that's horrible. All right. So we look for the reaction off of the previous day low. Again, we look for a pullback near the previous day low. Same thing. We're looking for sellers to step in. I already showed you the type of candles that you would be looking for. And let me pull this up too. And so I can, if any of you want this, you can actually find this on, you can Google it. Oops, where is that? Trading, it's a notes guide. Oops, zoom in. So this is what I'd be looking for when you're looking for weak price action. The ideal candle is this, either this candle here, a nice gravestone candle here. If you're looking for the terminology for the types of candles, I wanted to show you all that if you're interested. The inverted hammer, okay, or just a nice big red candle, right? My candles are not red on my chart, they're actually purple. I don't like to see red, but yeah. So on my chart, it will look like this: the inverted hammer, the gravestone, or the shaved bottom. All right. So I like to see that wick representing nice weak price action, or that sellers are aggressively stepping in to push the price higher, because buyers typically push the price higher at some point towards this the top of this wick here, but sellers stepped in and pushed the price all the way back down, and this is where we ended up closing. All right. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'd be looking for. So if sellers do step in, you can look to enter a position here and look to scale out at low of day. All right, so let me pause it there and see if you all have any questions. And before I answer any questions, let's get back to the pop quiz that I asked earlier within this session. Is this an example of a break and retest setup? Is this an example of a break and retest setup? And if it is, just give me a brief explanation of why you believe it is. If you don't know why it is, that's fine too. You could just say, I think it is, but I'm not sure why. If you don't believe it is, just tell me why you don't think it's a break and retest setup. And if you have a brief explanation on why you think it isn't, feel free to share that as well. All right, so the question is this an example of a break and retest setup? A break and retest setup. And let me scroll up and see if I see any additional questions. Curtis Keys Jr. asked, what is that indicator? Oops. All right, so currently, the only thing on my chart, I don't have any indicators active on this moment. The only thing I drew out was these key lines. All right, these key levels. Okay. And I just wrote a simple script to mark these out for me every single day so I don't have to. So it just marks out the pre-market high and the pre-market low, the previous day high and the previous day low. And you could draw these out manually on your chart. Only thing you're doing is within each session, right? The shaded area here is the open session. This is the market session when the market actually opens. The darker blue shaded session is the post session, all right? The post session. And the shaded yellow is the pre-market. And for any session, the only thing you're doing is drawing, a line at the highest point the price rose and the lowest point the price fell within that session. And that will let you basically all you're doing is boxing in that activity. So I don't have any indicators active on my chart for Tesla at the moment. I don't use indicators when trading the break and retest strategy for Tesla. Let's see. What do we like today? B-Rad asks, what do we like today? Yeah, I'm looking to trade Tesla. So given the news and given the activity in the pre-market so far, I'm looking to trade Tesla. Definitely looking to trade Tesla today. Let's see. Any other questions? All right, let's see. LJ says, yes, it is. It broke above a zone, came back, retested close to it, and continued. All right, cool. Let's see. Anyone else? All right, I'll give it 60 seconds to see if anyone else wants to take a stab at it. Is this considered a break and retest setup? If you believe it is, just tell me why you think it is. If you don't believe it is, tell me why you think it isn't. If you don't know, you can say, I don't know, but I'd like to find out. Flacco, too sharp, QQQ. QQQ. Yeah, so let's take a look quickly at QQQ. Remember I talked about with Tesla, if you caught the earlier explanation, this is Friday's high. You can box this in. This is Friday's lows. You can box this in, all right? What you want to do is you're waiting for a break above or a break below before, if you're using the break and retest strategy, all right? There's all sorts of strategies out there that might match this activity here, but the break and retest strategy, what you're looking for is a break above or a break below, okay? Break above or break below, and then a retest. So if we do break above, then you look for a retest back towards that key level, right? And you can use several opening range options, okay? You have the 1 minute opening range, you have the 5 minute, 15 minute, the 1 hour, 4 hour, the daily. It's up to you. You have the pre-market, you have the, so you can use either one of those for the break and retest, okay? Either one. In this case, if you box in the day, right? This is the daily, right? If we box in the highest point, the highest price, or the highest point, the price rose, and the lowest point, the price fell, this will be considered the day because this wraps or boxes in the entire session for Friday, right? So today, what you'd be looking for is a break above that level. And notice how it lines up perfectly with the pre-market high. So everything in between you could ignore. Everything in between you could ignore, right? You can look for a break above, since this is where we are currently with QQQ. Look at where price is currently. We're near the pre-market high. And we might even push the pre-market high higher. All right. But right now, what you'd be looking for is a break above at the open, a break above the pre-market high, and then a retest back towards this level, and to wait to see if buyers hold this level and push it, step in to push the price higher for continuation. That's what you'd be looking for. And like I said, you can use the pre-market high, box in, pre-market low, pre-market high, mark that out, wait for a break above, or wait for a break below, and then a retest, right? Or you could use the first 5 minutes. If I use this as an example, if I switch to the 1 minute chart, you can mark out the first 5 candles because each candle represents 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mark out the low, mark out the high. Wait for a break below or break above. That's the break and retest. You can use the first 5 minutes. You can use the first 15. You can use the first hour, first 4 hours. It's up to you. All right. It's up to you. But back to the question, is this considered the break and retest strategy? And the answer is, drum roll please, no. No, no, it isn't. Guess why? This was just, this is exactly what I was talking about in the, LJ say, ouch. This is now, to be honest, if I was looking at this last week, if I just glanced at it, I would have considered this the break and retest strategy. In Scarface's Traders Lab, he was just talking about this because what he has is all the members will post what they believe is an A+ setup, and he'll do an A+ setup review for each of those posts. Okay. And so this was one of the examples. And so I wanted to, and I'm going to do this for every pre-market session. I think I'm just going to ask one question, show an example, and then kind of, Just a quick pop quiz, and then provide the answer. All right. So yeah, so this is not an example of the pre-market, or excuse me, the break and retest setup, and here's why. If we, whatever this is, all right, this could be the pre-market high. This line, this yellow line here, this could be the pre-market high. This could be the previous day high. Remember, like I talked about here in Tesla. Let me reset. Go back. Like I talked about here, we get this could be the pre-market high, this could be the previous day high, it could be either one, right? Or the pre-market high or previous day high could be down here, okay? But here's the thing. We had this open, all right? At the open, we had this nice push higher, okay? Nice push higher. This here would be considered a retest. This down close candle would be considered a retest. The next down close candle, still part of that retest. Remember I said we could break slightly below it. Slightly below. Just consider that key level a price zone. So you could think $1, maybe $1 to $2 below or $1 to $2 above, right? But what you like to see is continuation. You don't want to see this drop too far below to wipe out all the liquidity that was established on the way up, right? Now look at this. What you have is this pullback or retest to this key level, okay? Right after that, you see buyers are starting to step in. Look at this nice aggressive push here, represented here by buyers, right? This nice bullish candle here. This represents continuation of this trend. Notice the next candle, we have a slight pullback. Buyers tried to continue. Sellers push the price a little lower. Nice bullish or bearish candle here. And then we have, look at the activity, some consolidation. Sellers are trying to push, buyers are trying to push, but we're just consolidating for a bit. But what you can do, and this is what I talked about order blocks earlier. This is an order block. We're on the 1 minute time frame. So the first candle, the first two, if you have sequential candles, you can mark out both. All right. You can include both, or you can just mark out one. It doesn't matter. You don't want it to break too far below this candle. So if we mark out the first two, you could draw out a box or you could draw out a line. This will be considered a 1 minute order block. Okay. If we miss this entry, we'd have to wait for another entry. Okay. As the stock continues to push higher, as the stock continues to push higher, now we're waiting to see, are we going to come back and retest this 1 minute order block? Okay. Are we going to retest this 1 minute order block? We came near it. We didn't quite tap into this zone, into the order block. We came near it though. You can see the wicks on these candles here. We continued higher. So to me, I didn't really see an entry here. All right. I really didn't see an entry here, but you could have entered on the push of this candle, right? You could enter on the push or at the close of this candle. All right. But for me, the A plus, right? The ideal, not A plus, sorry, not A plus. The ideal entry would have been here for me. All right. So we had this order block drawn out. So we got the first order block marked out here. Second order block drawn out here in the push, in the continuation. And then we have the third order block, right? So we're drawing out, marking out the order blocks as the trend continues. First candle, first down, close candle, first down, close candle, first down, close candle. Okay. We want to see if the continuation respects these down close candles and push off of it as support, like we see here. So we push off of it as support. We push off of it as support. Notice the wick. We push off of it as support. And then again, we tried to push off, but then we broke structure. So this is why this wouldn't be considered a break and retest, because we broke structure. Ideally, what you'd like to see is we maintain continuation, right? We could wick below, like if this was a wick, like you see here, we could wick below, but ideally you want to see it close within this order block. You want to see this candle close. We closed within the second order block. All right. Not only did we wick below it, but we closed within the second order block, right? And then we just continued heavy. So we broke the third order block, the second order block, and came all the way back down to the first order block. All right. So that's why this wouldn't be considered a break and retest setup, a break and retest setup. This actually invalidated the continuation from the open, right? This would be the break and retest. Then we had continuation, some consolidation, continuation. Oops. Push higher, seller stepped in, pushed the price lower. We broke market structure, and then tried to continue a bit later on in the session. Queen Harms, good day. Glad you made it. Glad you made it. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Jay, is that JJ? It says, are those different color lines indicators? No. Those are key levels. Those are just key levels. All right, your indicators. Let's talk about indicators. You could technically find an indicator that can draw out these key levels. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just saying that these are key levels that you're drawing out to gauge the direction of the market, to get prepared for an entry based on your particular setup of choice, your strategy of choice, right? So yeah, technically, because if I go here to the Pine editor, like I said, I do code. I was doing that for 10 years. Here you can see, can you all see that? I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. So there, it would fall under the indicator category. So you could find a particular indicator to draw out these key levels, but the technical term for these are key levels. These are key levels, all right? These are key levels. But yeah, if you were on TradingView and you were looking for to have these drawn out automatically on your chart, you could search for an indicator within TradingView. There's tons of them. There's so many of them. But yeah, you could search, and where you would search for these would be under the indicator category. So yeah, technically, to answer your question, it would be under the indicator category, but what these are exactly are key levels. These are key levels that represents pricing zones that the stock has reached at some point. So I just wanted to make sure I make that distinction clear. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Gotcha. Thanks for explaining it. No worries, JJ. Let's see. Anything else? If we don't have any additional questions, then again, what I want to talk about really quick, I want to do a couple of things. Reminder about the giveaway. All right, so we've entered August. We've officially entered the month of August. The brokerage account giveaway is going to end the third week of August, and I will announce the winner the following week, which will be that Friday. I'm going to go live and select and announce the winner using a free online random number generator. The winner will receive anywhere between $300 to up to $1,000 to fund their brokerage account. These are for newbies, individuals who are interested in learning how to day trade. And so I want to present that opportunity so you don't even have to risk your own money, but you can safely develop this skill risk-free and begin your journey. All right. begin your journey. What's up, Island Child Creations? Let's see. The other reminder, I'm thinking about, this is an announcement. I'm thinking about switching the live sessions with my mentor from Fridays to Mondays, because there's times where Tony will be on the text channel on Fridays, and he's there often on the text channels within his community on Fridays, I noticed. And so I'm thinking it's better to switch it to Mondays, because ideally he's there with Jack um, on Mondays. So I think it'll be a better idea and I'm thinking about switching that to this week, to start Monday. What do you all think? Starting today. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it today. And plus, I think it'd be a good idea, right, to start the week, to just have that for the start of the week, and then you can spend the rest of the week kind of studying that session. Yeah, okay. So LJ says, sounds great. Queen says, are we starting today? Yep. Yes, please. All right, cool. Yeah. I think we can go ahead and do that today. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Queen. Yep. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So LJ says, love it, especially since I got your quiz wrong. I got it wrong too. So full transparency, I got it wrong too. Because at first glance, that it's funny how the mind works, right? Sometimes we just don't see things right away until it's pointed out to us. And so I was just watching a few of those sessions within Scarface's Traders Lab. And so I was like, yo, let me take a look at these A+ setup reviews. And I saw that one and I was like, oh man, yeah, I need to start posting these in the pre-market prep so people can get more familiar with what to look for exactly. And we can start to drill down further. So yeah, LJ says, love it. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Yeah, got you. So yeah, I got it wrong too. So I believe that's the point. That's really the point, right? To like offer transparency, to show the growth, to show what you're learning, the mistakes that you've made, where you grew from. All right. Because then because you can see, LJ, you know what I'm talking about, because you watched Scarface's interview, right? So let me tell you all those of you who are on this live who have not watched the interview. Let me pull this up really quick. Okay, let me show you really quick. Where is that? Oh, by the way, don't forget to check out Jack's pre-market prep. He goes over multiple tickers, SPY, QQQ. He goes over futures. He goes over other tech stocks. And for those of you in the free community, you already know where to go because I provided this information. But yeah, you can go here and you can always catch his replays, right? So he has those saved. That is publicly available on his channel. So don't forget to check that out. Where's that? Hold on, let me go to history. Yo, this is a good documentary, by the way. How Money Became Worthless. It might scare you. So where's that interview? Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so this is the interview that I watched yesterday. This is a really, really nice interview. Really awesome interview for those of you who are interested. LJ, I know you saw it, so I just want to talk really quickly about that, since we have time, because the market doesn't open until 30 minutes, so we have time. But I want to talk briefly about this. And we also had a situation last week, I think it was last week, where we had a apparently an experienced trader who has been trading for 12 years, he said. And one of the claims that he was making was that if your mentor isn't a millionaire, he's not a good mentor or he's not a successful trader or whatever. And then at some point, I, I'm not sure. I think the question was asked, but I know that I ended up explaining who my mentor is, which is Tony Scarface Trades, right? And so he was like, "Who is this guy?" Or I forgot what he asked, but I was like, "Yo, here's his information. If you want to check him out, you can go do that." So he popped over to his channel and just took a quick glance at his channel, I guess, and he said, "Yo, nah, he's not a real trader. He just makes money from his social media and his courses." And I was like, "Wow." I was like, "How did you come up with that just by glancing?" He said, "Now he says he knows Tony, right? He says he knows Tony. That's his claim. I'm just being transparent. He says he knows Tony, right?" And so those of you who, if you get a chance, LJ already watched the interview, but this particular channel, Words of Wisdom, what they do is they verify traders before they interview them. So the trader has to present their statements, their brokerage statements, right? Official statements to confirm that they are in fact who they say they are, and they've made in fact how much they said they made, right? Or whatever their claims are. Now, I had seen a similar interview with Tony before, okay? And they verified his information, right? So these are reputable channels. But if you go into the comment section of this interview, all right, always love to peruse the comment section to see the reaction. And it never fails. It never fails that so many people, there was, well, I won't say so many in this comment section, but there were a number of folks that were saying, "Is it possible for us to see his brokerage statements?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, so you mean to tell me that you need to see this person's brokerage statements to confirm whether he's a valid trader or not? Now, I get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. I get the sentiment. But here's the problem with that. I think the people who are requesting this aren't putting themselves in these people's shoes. Okay. Can you imagine being a multi-millionaire? Especially if you're someone like myself, right? I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, Highland Park, 6 Mile and Woodward. All right. 313. All right. I grew up in the hood, in the projects. There's no way I'm going to be showing people my brokerage statements because anybody could come after you. Anyone could come after you, right? It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. It was. I'm like, if you were a multimillionaire, you mean to tell me you would just show your brokerage statement to anyone who asks just because they're having difficulty grasping or believing that you are in fact who you say you are? Now, in certain cases, if this is a person trying to get along with you and you're the bank, yeah, you want to see that information. It's relevant. You want to see tax returns. You want to see the particular schedules. If they're an investor, you want to see those schedules that show the money that they've made and the money that they've lost, right? All right. If you were looking to buy their business, yes, they would need to show you not their complete tax return, but their specific schedules that would show you the money that the business generated plus the money that the business lost, right? Their gains, their losses. In those scenarios, yes, it makes sense. But the only thing that you really need is to test the strategy itself, and you can test it risk-free using paper money. Okay. You do not need to see this man's brokerage statement to know whether or not the strategy works or not. What he's teaching is a specific strategy that he has claimed to use and has been successful using it. And so, yeah, I see so many of these types of questions. And that was the same type of claim, a similar claim that the guy last week, I think it was making as well. Like, oh, this guy's making money from his courses and stuff like that. And I was like, well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with him charging for his expertise. That's the game. You don't ask a doctor to perform surgery on you for free. So, but it's the same thing. It's a similar thing. What do you guys think? What do you all think? Let's see. Let's see. LJ, love it, love it. Let's see, love it. All please tap and like the live to share support. Thank you, LJ. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's see. Sounds like they want to see how he got what he got and can't appreciate the work. Exactly. Exactly. And you can hear how, I mean, this man is 20. This is a young man. He's 24, and his ability to articulate, right? It's amazing. You can see in his level of maturity as he answers these questions. He's been doing this for a while. And when you watch him live, those of you who've already had an opportunity to watch him live, those of you who haven't, you'll get to see him go live today or watch him trade today if you have that opportunity. Or you can catch the replay. If you can't hang on, if you have to drop, the replay will be available immediately. Okay, it will be available immediately. Okay, so now I'm recording using Loom, so I'm not going to wait for TikTok. So now I'm recording the entire screen using Loom, and so I can make the replays available ASAP, right? As soon as the session ends, it'll be available. So every session will be available immediately. All right, so yeah, definitely. Let's see, what else? Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know why people. I do know that there are so many. There are people who are. I do realize because I'm not going to play or pretend to be ignorant of the fact. I do know that there are plenty of traders because that's how social media works, right? It's a wave, right? There's so many people out there who are pretending to be, successful traders just to, play to the algorithm so that they can get viewership and start to make money from creating content. But they're not actually who they say they are. They're not, successful traders. And that's why, like for me, it was important to let people know, as you can see right in my lives, right? What does it say? Learn trading with me. You know what I mean? Learn trading with me. I have been successful implementing Tony's strategy, but I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning. I'm not where he's at. Okay. I'm still learning this process, which is why I decided to pay to join his program because I wanted to have that direct access. Now, everything that you will see him talk about in the live sessions, everything that you hear him talk about in the live sessions, he will create a video. He will create a video. If I pull this up, he'll create a video and talk about those specifically. So everything that he's talking about in the live sessions, he talks about publicly, freely in his content, right? And so you have access to check that out, right? You can watch. You can even start with the playlist. You can start with the playlist. There's 22 videos. The first video I watched here, if we view the full playlist, was let's see. I tested. How to start day trading as a beginner in 2025. This is a 2 hour, almost 2 hours long. This was the first one that I watched. This is the first video that I came across from Scarface. And where's the other videos? Why doesn't it let me? Oh, so 9 are hidden. I'm not sure why the other 9 are hidden, but this was the first video that I watched. How to start day trading as a beginner in 2025. And he goes over so much detail. And he uses simple language to explain the concept. So I was able to generate $20,000 in my first week using his strategy. Just using his strategy, I was able to generate $20,000 in 1 week. In 1 week. So now, obviously, I was, that's going to take money, right? You have to have, the money to get $20,000. And so I was trading those larger positions. We're talking 10, to 50K. Because if you, like, for example, if you take a 50K position and you get, let's see, like here, if you take a 50K position at 300, this is a 300 price, right? At this point. And if you get all the way towards, let's just say 307, this $7 move, that's a crazy, that's crazy profit right there. Like that's a lot. That's a lot. Because if you'll make, oh my goodness, man, we're talking about man, you can make like 20, that could be like 25,000 in a day. I'd have to look at there's a way you can actually calculate that and get the real number, the true number, but that could be 25,000 in 1 day. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. Do you provide one-on-one mentoring? Mario, is that Mario? I'm glad you asked. All right, so here's what I provide. All right, and everyone within the live who's already a part of the free communities can attest to this. I am a new day trader. My mentor is Scarface Trades. Okay, it's Scarface Trades. It's this guy. I paid $3,500 to join his comprehensive mentorship program in the latter part of April. Okay, let me give you just a brief overview. I joined his mentorship in the latter part of April. Before joining his mentorship, I made $20,000 just after watching his beginner, this video here. How to start day trading. Excuse me. So after that, I decided I wanted to really learn how the strategy works. And I wanted one-on-one access to be able to ask, as many questions as necessary, right, to help me learn. After doing that, since joining in April, I've also generated close to $9,000, and I've been tracking this in my journal since April. Since April. Okay, since April. Now, what I'm doing is sharing everything that I've learned for free. Okay, even though I've paid, I'm sharing everything that I'm learning from him to others who can't afford to buy his mentorship. I'm sharing with others for free. All right, no gatekeeping. So you can ask as many questions. I can point you in the right direction. I can share everything that I've been learning. We can do one-on-ones. We can do them live. We can do them privately. Okay. But you have to keep in mind, I'm a team of one. All right. There's only one person. There's only one me. All right. So I'm willing to help any and everybody. All right. You don't have to pay me a single cent. I'm not asking you to like or follow my content. If you have questions, you can DM me or you can join the free community that I have here. All right. And within the free community, I have these channels because we can organize information easily, and I can keep everyone in sync and say, hey, everyone, I'm going to go live, and set a schedule because I have a schedule here, a schedule channel here. So you can see when things are scheduled. Hey, I'm going to go live later this week at this time, so forth and so on, versus me trying to DM everyone in TikTok, everyone who DMs me, because I've gotten like over 100 DMs and I'm only one person. So I'm willing to share everything for free to answer your question. And I'm sharing all the information, all the resources. Let me show you this. I'm sharing everything in the session, in the free community, right? So let me show you this. So I paid $3,500, but he also has a cheaper option, a more affordable option for personalized options coaching accelerator, right? And what you get is you get the full trading course. You get daily live trading, so you'll get access to see him trade live, and this is for $200 a month. Okay, $200 a month. That's what he offers. All right, so I paid $3,500 one-time fee, and I get access for life, lifetime access. Right, $3,500. You pay that up front, and you get lifetime access, or you can go this route, $200 a month, and get access to his live and the courses. And you can ask. Let me point this out too. 24/7 access, get advice and answers from experts anytime. So he has several experts. All right, it's him, it's Jack, and I just learned this weekend that he added a futures expert. All right, so I'm going to add futures to my portfolio in 6 months. All right, so I'm going to gradually start tapping in to watch the futures experts, start to learn. I'll begin my learning now. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time, but I'll start trading 6 months from now. So I want to finish my day trading goals for now. Let's see. Millionaire Meta Forum. Does he go live on TikTok? No. So he only goes live, and that's private. So he only goes live with his community. All right. So he only goes live with his community. So what I do is I'm showing people, giving people a preview for free one day out the week so they can see him trade. So they can see him trade, right? All right, those who are interested in learning. So you can see like, oh man, this man really knows what he's talking about. Because when you watch him, I could say, or you could even read going on his channel. Okay, so he says this. You could even watch his videos and see, okay, yeah, he might know what he's talking about. But when you actually see him trade live, it's an experience that you can't really put in words, right? You see it. You see it, and when you see the amount of money he's making, it just blows your mind. Okay, it just blows your mind. Let's see, but no, he doesn't go live on TikTok. You have to be in the accelerator or join the mentorship. Any other questions? We have 15 more minutes until we go live. Let me go ahead and notify the community while I'm thinking about that. Hold on, let me see. All right, cool. So I just notified the community, so everyone should be good to go. All right, we have a few more minutes. Does anyone have any particular questions, thoughts, concerns? We have 12 more minutes. Oops. Yeah, so Irma, we will be going live here shortly in the next 12 minutes. Well, a little under 10 minutes. I'm just waiting for them to provide me with the link. So if you need to take a quick break, coffee break or whatever, you have time. Everyone else, also, if you want to take a quick break, I'm going to keep the live active so you could just, go do what you need to do and come back we should get started at 8:25. 8:25. The market opens at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Hey, Jessica, you welcome, LJ. Hey, Jessica, if you have any questions, let me know. What we're doing, just to give you a brief overview, is to going to go live with my mentor so you can watch him trade the break and retest strategy. So if you're interested in that, you can feel free to tune in. If you are unable to stay for the entire session, you can DM me for the replay. You can always DM me for the replay. All right, so we have 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. this up. All right, so we have 2 more minutes before we begin. 2 more minutes. By the way, just keep in mind, you always have the option to join the live on the other social media channel that I posted in the free community if you want to see the charts more clearly. But I try to position the phone so you all can see it as clearly as possible, those of you on TikTok. But if you're in the free community, you always have access to the other live so you can see the chart more clearly because I'm sharing my screen directly from that live.
Recording in progress.
Mic check, mic check. Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me and see my screen? What's up, everyone? Good morning. Zoom is good. Discord is good as well. I have this recorded. All right, let's get started here. So yeah, coming into today, as you can see, overall markets having a little bit of a bounce here, right back in towards your previous day highs. So this is going to be the key level coming to today here for the overall markets, 626. If we reject off this level, kind of pop and fade is in play back towards the downside. If you can get above your previous day highs and maintain above your previous day highs, potentially we can see a push back up and towards this 630. As for the QQQ, Exact same thesis here. Key level is going to be this 559. You can get above, hold above. Potentially, you can see this push back up and towards your 564. If you get above, kind of fade off this level, there's a potential reversal and play back down in towards that 555. So that's for the overall indices, the SPY and the QQQ. As for my top watches coming into today, I do like Tesla here. This one kind of bouncing off key levels of support 300 key psych. You're above your previous day highs here as well. We'll just keep an eye out on this previous day highs level if it does want to maintain above, potential move up and towards this 313. As for Nvidia, semiconductors are still very strong. What I like to see now is going to be the break above your 176.50s for potential continuation towards the upside. AMD definitely one of the stronger tickers compared to the overall market. Key level in this case, previous day highs 175. This is a level I like to see maintain if we want to see this push towards the upside, right? So previous day highs is going to be key on basically everything today, right? SPY Qs. We also have Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. Previous day highs and the reaction that we have off that level is going to be key. As for some names that I'm somewhat interested if the market does want to stay heavy, potentially Apple, pop and fade. This one had earnings, so this could still continue lower down in towards that 202. So we can keep an eye on Apple. Amazon, similar thing here. Amazon with Apple both had earnings last Thursday. If it does want to stay weak, you like to see it stay heavy underneath this 619. As for some other names, Palantir, right? We have to keep in mind a couple of these names do have earnings. So like Palantir is popping. This one looks good for a push up and towards 160, but it's going to be very hard to trade this one with earnings tonight. Other names that do have earnings, HIMS, we have tomorrow, we have AMD plus SMCI. So AMD, we can take a look at AMD and see how the contracts move today, but definitely tomorrow is going to be hands-off approach here on AMD. The market is about to open here in about a minute. Let me get situated here. Hood also popping up as well. Okay, let me get this all set up. So yeah, coming into today, as I mentioned, the key levels is going to be your previous day highs on both the major indices. And then for Tesla, Nvidia and AMD, I would like to see the reaction that we have off your previous day highs as well. So those are going to be the main ones we'll keep an eye out on for the first kind of 10 to 15 minutes. As for this week, we don't really have any red folder news. The only thing we do have is Tuesday ISM and then Thursday with the unemployment. And then we still have a couple more names that do have earnings. So we'll keep an eye out on that as well. All right.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yo.
What's good? Yeah, coming into today, kind of like Jack said, so AMD does have earnings in 2 days. So that one, we'll see how the contracts are. That one is kind of moving to the upside, but we'll see how the contracts are for that one. Another name is obviously NVIDIA that we could potentially play. For me, specifically today, the main watch is really going to be the first 5 minutes and seeing which stock has relative strength and weakness, because a lot of these have been kind of moving to the downside for the past 2 days. And then today we may get a potential pop. And therefore, I'm just going to see which one has relative strength compared to weakness within the first 5 minutes. And that'll help us kind of gauge which way the market wants to move. Most of these names are near previous day high as well. So if they're above previous day high, plus they have relative strength, I'll look to take that for a long position. If they're below previous day high and the whole market's showing weakness, then I'll look to take it for a short position as well. It just really depends on what the market does here within the first 5 minutes. Now, for Tesla, you can see right off the bat, a lot of sellers stepping in on this first 1 minute candle. We just went from basically almost 309s to 307s here. So we'll see what happens overall on Tesla as well today. This one is near previous day high. So we could potentially look for that move to the upside within the first 5 minutes, after the first 5 minutes. Or we could look for a move to the downside if it stays below the previous day high. NVIDIA also, you see some sellers stepping in. QQQ, we try to move to the upside there, but you can see sellers stepping in a little bit on that name as well. So really for the first 5 minutes, I want to gauge which way the market wants to move in the trend. And then based off of that, we'll look to take a trade.
Yeah, so the Qs were right around your previous day highs. Let's see if we can now maintain above your previous day highs on the QQQ. That's going to be key. As for AMD, the IVs fairly juiced up here, over 100 100 on the contract. So AMD most likely not going to take a trade on this one today or tomorrow before earnings.
Tesla so far, you can see Tesla moving to the downside so far. This one 309 all the way down to 306, 305s almost. So that one definitely showing a little bit of weakness. QQQ still kind of holding up here. So Q still trying to hold up, trying to make a brand new high of day. We'll see if that one does make a new high of day. NVIDIA also coming back down here, low of day on NVIDIA. That one 174.40 would be the next key level. And then AMD, obviously this one has earnings. However, this one also moving to the downside.
We'll see how this 5-minute candle closes here on the QQQ, but currently we're right above your previous day highs, 559. That's going to be the key level we'd like to see the QQQ hold if we do want to see some continuation. So far, names that are showing a little bit of strength here is actually Apple. This one trying to reclaim back above this 204. As for Tesla, I'm really only interested if we can reclaim back above this 309. As for NVIDIA, we can keep an eye on this like 174.50, or it's going to be above your 176.50 previous day highs.
Yeah, Q so far still trying to hold that previous day high for that move to the upside. Apple, right? This one is showing strength. This one, Apple 204.69. That's the level it needs to hold above. 204.69. That also coincides with the pre-market high as well. So essentially, just the pre-market high retest on Apple is what you're looking for. 204. Pre-market high actually is 204.76. So 204.76 retest is what you'd be looking for on Apple. To hold AMD right at previous day high so far. SPY breaking back above previous day high. You can see SPY not a single down close candle so far, all up close candles on SPY. QQQ trying to make a brand new high here as well. Tesla, this one weaker obviously than the rest of the markets. And then NVIDIA buyers slowly stepping up on that one as well. So we can keep an eye out on Apple here for a potential retest of 204.76. If not, then we can also look for Apple to break out and then retest this down close candle that we put in at 932. But we'll see what happens here with the overall market.
Yeah, so far it looks like this 5-minute candle is going to close above our previous day highs on both these major indices. So far, it does seem like the major indices themselves are the stronger names. So now what we'll do is just keep an eye out on the SPY and Qs above your previous day highs. As for Tesla, keep an eye out on this potential reclaim back above this 309. Similar thing with NVIDIA here. If we can reclaim back above high day, we can see this nice push up and towards your previous day highs.
Q so far pushing up nicely. Tesla also looking to reclaim most likely high of day here. NVIDIA brand new high of day. Apple coming back down here. A little bit of weakness there with QQ pushing back to the upside. But NVIDIA and Tesla are now showing a little bit of strength. Apple, you'd like it to hold this down close candle, which is currently at right now. Q's strong push up on Q's. Tesla strong push up. NVIDIA strong push up as well. Those are some names that we can be looking for. Like I said, right, we waited for the first 5 minutes to develop. This way we kind of know which way the market's heading. We didn't come in with too much of a strong bias. But now that we know the first 5 minutes has developed, we can now look for a potential retest on any of these names as long as they keep showing strength and then push to the upside.
All right, with the QQQ pushing higher here, we do have this gap fill back towards the upside on both these major indices. SPY hasn't had any pullback as of yet. So the key level for SPY is going to be your 5-minute range. And then the QQQ, we're going to mark out similar things. It's going to be this 5-minute range here as well. As for Tesla, if you can now close above 309, retest above that level, I'd be interested in longs above your previous day highs. And then for NVIDIA, similar thesis now, most likely it's going to be waiting for either the 176.50 break or it's going to be the retest of that 5-minute range.
Apple so far pushing up. NVIDIA retest would now just be the high of day or 5-minute basically high for NVIDIA. For Tesla, this one we wanted to push back above high of day and then also retest that previous 5-minute high as well. So a lot of these names we're just looking for the 5-minute high retest. Specifically on NVIDIA and Tesla. QQ obviously pushing up aggressively. Apple, this one's pushing up, but a little bit weaker now, right? You do want Apple to be a little bit more aggressive with how aggressive Q's is. But this one's still slowly kind of pushing back up as well. Q so far, very aggressive though. This one, the next level I have on Qs is 563.86, 563.86. So that one's obviously a little bit deeper. However, that is the next level that I do have on Qs after 561s, which is coming up here on Qs. On Apple, this one, like I said, just kind of consolidating, but slowly moving up. On Tesla, 309.22s. 309.22s would be the retest level. That also coincides with your previous day high plus your 5-minute high for today. For NVIDIA, we actually just hit our previous day high right here, 176.45. This is our previous day high from Friday. So what we want to see on NVIDIA now is essentially just the retest of either the 5-minute high or pre-market high. Pre-market high is at 176.12s. 176.12s is pre-market high. And then SPY, still something to mention. SPY, not a single down close candle, even on the 1-minute time frame. So even on the 1-minute time frame, not a single down close candle on SPY so far.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on the SPY and Qs now. They're going to pull back most likely to this 5-minute range. That's going to be our key level. We can keep an eye out on Tesla here. It's going to be the hold of this previous day highs in this 1-minute range, 309. That's what I'm interested in most likely with this Qs and SPY pullback here. Keep an eye on Tesla above 309. I'm interested in the 310s on Tesla, the 310 calls.
Yeah, on this pullback on Tesla with the previous day high plus the 5-minute opening range, let's keep an eye out on the 310 calls on Tesla, the 310 calls on Tesla for a move up to high of day and then continuation into 311s, 312s, and then 313s. Let's see if buyers step up here on Tesla. We need buyers to step up. Q's finally pulling back. NVIDIA hit that previous day high, pulling back on NVIDIA here as well. NVIDIA, you can also look for the pre-market high. So NVIDIA pre-market high is also technically in play, along with Tesla previous day high plus the 5-minute high on Tesla. The NVIDIA retest is at 176.12, which we're currently at right now, 176.12. That's your pre-market high. You'd like to see buyers step up on NVIDIA. Either Tesla or NVIDIA looks good. It just depends on which one shows strength here and shows that buyers are stepping in. So Tesla, we would be looking at the 310 calls.
Yeah, so far, not really any reaction here with the Qs. The QQQ key level, as I mentioned, is going to be your 5-minute range. Let's see if any sort of buyers do step in here on Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla 310 calls you'd be looking at. And then on NVIDIA, you'd be looking at the 177.50 calls. The 177.50 calls on NVIDIA if buyers step up in that pre-market high level for a move back up to high of day. So we'll see which one shows relative strength. We'll see which one shows buyer stepping in and relative strength for a move back up to high of day. Keep an eye out on Tesla so far, though. Let's see if buyer step in for the 310 calls here. NVIDIA still moving to the downside. QQQ, a little bit of buyer stepping in. SPY kind of moving down a little bit here. NVIDIA broke below the pre-market high. Next level for NVIDIA would be the 5-minute high now.
Yeah, with the QQQ and SPY kind of at high of day, these ones are definitely stronger. NVIDIA and Tesla not really showing too many buyers kind of stepping in here. Tesla, I'm only interested now if it can, reclaim back above that 309.30.
Yeah, Tesla, no buyers so far. Still haven't entered on this one. Same with NVIDIA. You can see Q's actually just try to make a brand new high of day here with Tesla and NVIDIA not really doing too much there. So we would like to see Tesla and NVIDIA obviously show a little bit more strength with Q's for that push back to the upside. Q's brand new high of day here. Brand new high of day on Q's. Q's aggressive push up. NVIDIA is actually the one that's showing a little bit of strength now. This one kind of faster mover to the upside there I wasn't able to get in, but this one, the reclaim of this is actually most likely going to bring it back up to high of day and then push up aggressively on NVIDIA here. This is because of Q's pushing up. That one, if you were able to get in when it reclaimed, that one decent kind of reclaim for a move back up to high of day and continuation. You would have been focused in on the 177.50 calls. That one already back up at high of day on NVIDIA. Now the next level I have on NVIDIA is going to be the 177 whole strike number. You can see that with Q's pushing up aggressively here, not really too much. Like that Tesla trade, for example, this one not really moving as much. Q's and SPY definitely the one showing a little bit more strength in the overall market itself. Let's see if there's anything else showing strength. Like Apple's not really showing too much anymore. Q's brand new, obviously high of day. SPY brand new high of day. AMD high of day as well, but that one has earnings, so we can't really play that one. IV's a little bit too high. NVIDIA near high of day, and then Tesla slowly pushing down. This one was not able to hold the 309.22 level, unfortunately, so no trade on that one.
Yeah, with the Q's, definitely the one that's showing the most relative strength. We can keep an eye out on NVIDIA. This one just broke above its previous day highs with a really strong reclaim. It actually just had kind of an immediate retest there. But NVIDIA now, the hold above your 176.60s is going to be key.
Yeah, for NVIDIA now, the retest is going to be the down close candle near that 176.60 level. It's going to be that down close candle for NVIDIA for a move back to the upside. That reclaim so far was nice, but now what we're going to be looking for is the retest of the down close candle on NVIDIA for a push back up to high of day and then that 177.50 level.
So yeah, Qs and SPY, really the first 20 minutes so far. SPY, we've only had 2 down close candles, really bullish. The gap is all the way back up and towards your 630 here. For the QQQ, the gap's back up into this 564. As for the overall tech side, kind of lagging behind Microsoft, Google, showing a little bit of strength here. I'm actually interested in Meta as well. Potentially now it's above your previous day highs. You can keep an eye out on this one. And then NVIDIA, I like to see maintain now above this 176.60s.
All right, let's keep an eye out on this NVIDIA retest of 176.50s near this down close candle. Let's see if buyers step up on NVIDIA here. This one, once again, we can be looking for NVIDIA for a move back up to high of day. Q so far very strong as well. Q is very strong for a move to the upside as well. Not really too much. You see Tesla as well. This one kind of moving back to the upside. You'd like to see the Tesla reclaim. If Tesla can reclaim 309.22s, that one actually does look good for a move back up to high of day as well. But let's keep an eye out on NVIDIA for potential pushback to the upside. You'd still be looking at the 177.50 calls on NVIDIA. Let's see if buyers step up on this name. You'd be looking at the 177.50 calls on NVIDIA. I do also like Tesla. If Tesla can reclaim, I'd still be interested in Tesla for a move back up to high of day as well. If this one can reclaim back above the 5-minute high. So 177.50 calls for NVIDIA if buyers step up, or the 310 calls on Tesla if we get the reclaim. Let's see which one comes in first here if buyers do want to step up on either one. NVIDIA, I'd like to see more buyers stepping up here.
Yeah, this is right at your previous day highs. 176.60s.
Tesla, no real reclaim yet. This one broke right back below from the level that it needed to reclaim. NVIDIA is still trying to hold this level near the previous day high. Let's see if buyers do step up aggressively here on NVIDIA. The 177.50 calls is what I'll be looking at. This one is the main focus now.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I took some of the 177.50s here on NVIDIA. Risk is going to be a break underneath your previous day highs. What I like to see now is it maintain above your previous day highs, 176.60s, for this continued pushback up and towards high day and above.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I also took the 177.50 calls, the 177.50 calls on NVIDIA. This one, I like this one for a move back up to high of day. So far, holding that previous day high. Risk is very tight for me. The risk is basically just a break below the the previous green candle, so the 950 candle. A break below that candle would be my stop. And then we're looking for a high of day and continuation. So tight risk here on this NVIDIA trade, but looking for a move to the upside here with Qs trying to move back to the upside.
Yeah, with QQQ pulling back here as well, at least for the key levels of support here on both the SPY and Qs, it's actually going to be our down close candle and kind of this 9 EMA that we have marked.
Apple actually just hit brand new high of day. Tesla still not really moving. NVIDIA, a little bit of consolidation. This one, high of day is our target for our first target. Qs slowly kind of pushing down here. What we want to see on Qs is a hold of 561s. Let's see buyers step up on NVIDIA here. If you look at the 5-minute on NVIDIA, decent 5-minute, that previous 5-minute candle was a little bit weaker, but if we can print a strong 5-minute candle here, this one does look like it has room to the upside, especially above previous day high.
Yep. Let's see if we can now push up and towards high of day. QQQ, I'd like to see it bounce off this 9 EMA and push it back up and towards highs as well.
Qs, let's see if buyers step up on QQQ here. NVIDIA, you can see we were about a couple cents off of high of day, a little bit of seller stepping in off that 177 number, right? So we were right at high of day, 177, a little bit of sellers stepping in off of that level. We need to see buyers stepping in. This is where we need to see Q show a little bit more strength for NVIDIA to push back up here. Apple also trying to reclaim back above high of day. Tesla also looking to come back for high of day potential push here as well. That Tesla reclaim I'm still interested in just because I know Tesla, if we do reclaim back above that 5-minute high, this one does have a clear shot to high of day and potential continuation with Qs. So we'll keep an eye out on that Tesla reclaim as well for a potential move back to the upside. But let's keep an eye out on NVIDIA for high of day here.
Yeah, the markets look like they should just continue higher. Let's see if we can get that pop.
Yeah. Qs, let's see buyers stepping in on Qs here. Tesla, the reclaim level, by the way, is 309.22s. 309.22s. If it reclaims back above that level, I'd be interested for a higher day push on that name as well. Q's coming up for high of day. NVIDIA coming up for high of day here as well. Look to take some off at high of day. There's NVIDIA high of day coming in right here. Look to take some off near high of day as we push up into this level. Q's right at high of day here as well. Let's see if Q's can push back above high of day. NVIDIA right at high of day, 177.16s.
Yeah, SPY and Qs right back at high of day. Let's see if we can get some continuation here on both these names.
Yeah, there's high of day. Here's Q's pushing up. Look to take some off near high of day here. High of day on NVIDIA, taking some off here for myself. Took some off on NVIDIA, high of day right there. Let's see if we can get some continuation on NVIDIA here, but so far, nice low trade to the upside there on NVIDIA for high of day. Another name that, like I said, I'm looking at is going to be Tesla reclaim 309.22s. If that one does show strength near that level. However, so far, NVIDIA high of day, look to take some off here at high of day, and then we can look for continuation above high of day. But so far, you can see a little bit of sellers sitting right at that high of day level. If Qs can continue this push up, then NVIDIA will continue its push up as well. Next level I have after high of day for NVIDIA is 177.50s. 177.50s. Use a little bit of rejections. NVIDIA right at high of day. Tesla, a little bit of rejections here as well. This one, Tesla just a little bit more choppy now, like I said, right? That one, the reclaim is the only thing you're looking for. If it doesn't reclaim, then you're not really looking at it as much. SPY, this one, high of day, a little bit of rejections off high of day. Let's see if SPY can continue this push up as well. NVIDIA right at high of day, same with Qs. All of these names basically just have to push back above their key levels. So Qs just has to push back above 562.30s. This one needs to have a candle closure. NVIDIA 177.17s need to have a candle closure above that level. And then on SPY, it's really the 628.50 level. We just need a candle closure above that on SPY. SPY and Qs showing some buyers stepping in now.
Yeah, SPY and Qs for me, it's very bullish. We have this push potentially all the way back up and towards this 564 here. For SPY, it's going to be really kind of 630. This gap fell back towards the upside.
SPY, Qs pushing up. Apple, not really. Tesla, just consolidation, really. NVIDIA right at high of day, right near that high of day level. AMD, a little bit below that high of day level. SPY and Qs are going to be the strongest today, in my opinion. Those ones are going to be the strongest. And then the rest of the tech names really just following what SPY and Qs is trying to do, but a little bit weaker. NVIDIA is probably still one of the stronger ones, though, near that high of day level.
At least for Qs now, you'd just like to see it maintain above this 562. And then for SPY, it's this 628.40s.
SPY pushing up aggressively, same with Qs. If NVIDIA can break this 177.17, we should see some nice continuation into that 177.50 level. We just need a candle closure above.
See if we get that volume coming in here.
Qs pushing up nicely. Like I said, next level on Qs is 563.85s. 563.85s next level on Qs. Also, if you're ever confused where I'm getting my levels from, just make sure you're looking at pre-market charts for that I post every single day, pre-market charts under Scarface Trades. So you'll know exactly what levels I'm talking about. But next level, 563.85s on Qs. NVIDIA right at that high of day level. Let's see if we can get that candle closure above this high of day level. This will really help NVIDIA for that next push up. Tesla, a little bit of buyers stepping up overall in the market. Same with Apple, QQQ, SPY pushing up nicely as well. NVIDIA trying to make a brand new high. Let's see if we can get that candle closure above.
We also just had 10 o'clock here as well. For at least the Qs and SPY now, levels are fairly clear. It's just going to be your 562.29. And then for SPY, down close candle as well, 628.40s.
NVIDIA, you can see sellers are sitting right at the high of day level. So that whenever someone asks, why do we sell at high of day? This is exactly why, so we can hold through the consolidation. But you can see sellers are sitting at high of day level. If we break above that and have a candle closure, this one can have a really nice push up now, especially because we're kind of putting in this flat top. So if we break above and have a candle closure, this one could have a nice move to the upside. That's what I'm looking for on NVIDIA now. This one, once again, we just need buyers to step up a little bit more aggressively with Qs pushing back to the upside. Along with SPY, SPY is pushing still to the upside. Next level on SPY is 629.76. 629.76 on SPY, 563.86 or 85s on QQQ. And then NVIDIA, we just need this flat top break now.
Yeah, Tesla's actually reclaiming as we speak above your previous day highs. Both these names, you'd just like to see 5-minute candle closes. If we can get above key levels, we should have continuation on really the major indices along with Tesla and NVIDIA.
I also just took the 310 calls on Tesla, the 310 calls on Tesla. That was something I was looking forward to as well. The 310 calls on Tesla. That one I'm looking for high of day on Tesla here as well. So Tesla reclaim. This one looks nice. 310 calls on Tesla. I'm looking for high of day on that name as well. This one, strong buyer stepping in. If QQQ and SPY can continue to push, this one should see a nice move up back up into high of day on Tesla. Let's see if buyers can bring that one up as well.
Yeah, these ones both look good. Let's see if we can get that 5-minute candle closure on both these ones.
NVIDIA, there we go, brand new high of day. Let's see if NVIDIA can push up now and actually have a candle closure above high of day here on NVIDIA, brand new high of day. Apple, a little bit of rejections. Q's, a little bit of rejections. NVIDIA right at high of day. Q's, a little bit slowing down on Q's here.
So NVIDIA 1-minute candle close above. What we need is really a 5-minute candle close above this 177. That's going to be key. You can see Q's a little bit of a pullback here while NVIDIA and Tesla are trying to hold up now, which is a good sign. For the Q's, you like to see this retest, continuation, SPY, similar thing, 628, 60s.
Yep, boom. There's Tesla high of day. I'm looking to take some off here on Tesla high of day here as well. Tesla high of day, taking some off here on Tesla high of day. Nice little pop there on Tesla. Nice pop on Tesla here to high of day. Took some off on Tesla. NVIDIA, I'd like to see this continuation as well.
Yep. NVIDIA, let's see if we can get that push up and towards this 177.40s. Tesla has room up to 313 if you can get above your pre-market high.
Yeah, nice pop on Tesla. Took some off on Tesla. On NVIDIA, this one, I would like to see a nice push up here as well. This one came up into 177.40 so far. Tesla taking some more off here on Tesla. Nice push up on Tesla. Tesla premium is moving a little bit nicer. Obviously, this one taking a little bit more off on Tesla. NVIDIA now pushing up 177.40s. I took a little bit off of NVIDIA here as well as we're pushing up into 177.50s. 177.50s on NVIDIA, taking some off here.
Yeah, nice push on both these names now with the Qs kind of just consolidating. Make sure to take some profits along the way. Next level on NVIDIA, 177.75 for Tesla. It's going to be above your pre-market high. It's going to be this 313.
Yeah, solid push on both names there. I'm out basically. I only have 20 cons on both names now left. The solid kind of push up on both Tesla and NVIDIA. Tesla still pushing up nicely. Yeah, both names super nice, kind of push up into 177.50s for NVIDIA, which was our key target, and then Tesla. This one's still actually pushing up really nicely and aggressively. Did anyone take either NVIDIA or Tesla today? Q's a little bit of consolidation. You can see that I was talking about that Tesla reclaim all day today because I knew once we reclaimed, this one was going to have some strong buyers stepping in. And you can see Tesla had that buyer coming in. NVIDIA stop is break below consolidation now. Tesla, I just like to see continuation in that name. Nice push up on Tesla there. Super nice on Tesla. I'm going to take a little bit more off 312 level here on Tesla. 312 whole psych number on Tesla, taking some off here. I took both before you announced. Nice. That means you're doing something right, Cuba.
Nice. Yeah, as for now, NVIDIA, you can see kind of losing momentum underneath this 177. As for the QQQ and SPY, the key level is just coming right back down and towards this down close candle here on both these major indices. And then Tesla, you'd like to see maintain above your pre-market highs. So with the SPY and Qs coming back to retest is the exact level we like to see hold. SPY and Qs, and then Tesla, you like to see hold this 310. As for NVIDIA, this one showing a little bit more kind of weakness now. Basically has to hold this 176.90 level.
Q's now coming back down. Q's, this is the exact level you'd want to see Q's hold. Let's see if buyers step up on QQQs here. Let's see if buyers step up on Q's here. For Tesla, this is also the level you'd like it to hold for momentum. For NVIDIA, we want to see buyers stepping up here as well for continuation. SPY, this is the exact level. Market at a very key kind of inflection point here.
Yep, so far you can see kind of buyers stepping in here on the SPY and Qs. This is the exact level we have to hold. Nice kind of lower wick here on both the major indices.
NVIDIA so far holding up, Q's holding up, Tesla holding up, SPY holding up. While we're waiting for these names now, really just in trailer positions, do you guys have any questions? I'll answer any questions right now. Super solid trades on both Tesla and NVIDIA today. Qs still, as long as Qs holds up, these ones should kind of continue back up into high of day. As long as Qs in SPY does hold up, still in those names. But yeah, still holding those.
Yeah, but you can see.
How did you know Tesla?
Okay.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Go ahead. Someone just asking, how did you know Tesla's going to run today? It's just moment, like, so it's already above previous day high, right? So if Tesla's above previous day high, and the overall market's strong, Tesla typically, just knowing the personality, likes to run. And therefore, I knew once it reclaimed the previous day high, it's going to run up into today's high and then even show continuation. And then you can see above previous day high, this one was consolidating before that, but the second it broke above previous day high, you can see the amount of momentum it came in with. And now you can see NVIDIA and Tesla both making brand new high of days. So it's just about finding the right stocks and understanding the personality. That's what helped me there, and mostly just kind of experience of trading Tesla over and over and over again. That's really all it is to it. NVIDIA near highs here, same with Tesla coming back up to highs. Qs, let's see if we can break a brand new high of day on QQQ as well.
Yeah, you can see SPY and Qs, we had the nice reaction right off the level we talked about, but now you can see Tesla and NVIDIA showing a lot more strength now with the Qs holding. You like to see NVIDIA and both Tesla now make a new high of day.
I do see some of you guys talk about Google. In terms of Google, I don't really see a break and retest set up as apparently. This one obviously has a lot of momentum for the upside. The only place you could have potentially entered Google would be like these are kind of break and retest, but like 937, when you saw buyers stepping in, a 937 candle off the one candle rule, you could potentially look to enter Google off that 937 candle. That's about it. Like, other than that like 941 candle was really just like, it was more so consolidation. But yeah, the only entry I see is about 937 candle on Google, which wouldn't really be like too much of a break and retest, but you're really just playing the momentum off of that with like somewhat defined risk. Other than that is probably this 1010 candle that we're putting in. But this one, obviously Google breaking down a little bit now, so not as much strength, but that is technically where you would have entered. NVIDIA brand new high of day here, by the way. Yeah, NVIDIA brand new high of day, super nice push up on NVIDIA now. Next level is 178 whole psych. 178 whole psych. You can see the amount of strength NVIDIA is coming in with. Tesla also above highs here, so we'll see if Tesla can break brand new high of day. And then QQQ, like I said.
Look at that now, right? Q's perfect level we talked about that I had to hold. You can see the strength on NVIDIA now compared to the Q's. Q's hasn't made a new high. Look at the strength coming in on NVIDIA, right? Now we can expect Q's to most likely move back towards highs, and then the rest of the names continue higher as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Q's nice push up. Same with SPY. NVIDIA brand new highs. This one key level here on NVIDIA. You can look to take some off. Is anyone still holding NVIDIA or Tesla? Is anyone still holding NVIDIA or Tesla? Holding Tesla, NVIDIA, small on both, holding NVIDIA. Yeah, so this is a scale point. So always scale into strength. So if any of you guys are holding, you want to scale some into strength here on NVIDIA, right? Let's say you're still holding 2 contracts, sell one, and then hold the other one as a trailer position. But always sell into strength. Like when you see NVIDIA come in with that much strength, you want to sell into that strength. Just like 1 or 2. If you're holding 1 or 2, like sell one is what I'm saying.
Let's see if we can get that Q's pop here as well. Next level on the major indices, that previous low that we created from Friday. Sorry, that was Thursday's low. 564 on Q's, and then for SPY, a little bit farther away, but it's your 630.70s. As for NVIDIA, we'd like to see now hit one of our main targets, which was our gap fill from a few days ago. We'd like to see it maintain really above either this 177.50, or if it shows a lot of strength, maintain above this 177.70s.
He was nice push up here as well. SPY right at high of day. A little bit of rejection in the SPY high of day. Tesla still basing, so Tesla still looks good. So for the rest of my position now for NVIDIA, my stop is just going to be a break below 177.40s, or sorry, 177.30s is going to be my break on NVIDIA. On Tesla, the break is going to be break below the down close candle at around 309.50s. Tesla just going to give it a little bit more room for that move to the upside. This one's still basing and looking nice. So if Qs can push up to high of day, this one still can have that continuation. And then we can see Qs here right back up into high of day, and NVIDIA making brand new highs here as well. 178 is a key target for NVIDIA as well.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that Qs push higher. You can see NVIDIA showing a lot of strength here now. 178 just hit.
Yeah. Great way to start the week, especially in August. We talked about this. 2 trades for me, actually, to start off the Monday in August, first Monday of August, or first week of August, really, because last week we started on Friday, but this is basically the first week of August. Great way to start it off with Tesla and NVIDIA. Solid momentum movers. Maybe I'm wrong about August, which I'd love to be. And maybe we do get some nice continuation into this month. But so far, that's going to be the trade for me today, is going to be NVIDIA and Tesla. In terms of this week, what do we have? Let's talk about it. So YouTube video tomorrow. That will be a full scalping course, A to Z, everything. And that just includes everything about scalping. So that'll be solid for a lot of you guys to watch and refresh up on. Traders Lab, we have a meeting today with Neto, Thursday with me, Friday with Jack.
Mine's actually Wednesday this week.
Wednesday with Jack then, sorry. One thing we're adding a new thing for Traders Lab, which I'll make an announcement for you guys. We're adding a new thing for you guys to make it even more personalized. We'll talk about that in Traders Lab. I'm trying to think about what else. Trade review for this trade later tonight. And yeah, that's going to be about it for me. Still holding both Tesla and NVIDIA. And yeah, hope you guys had a solid Monday to start off the brand new month. And I will catch you guys later tonight for the trade review for these trades. And yeah, I will catch you guys later tonight. All right, bye guys.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on here a little bit longer, probably for the next like 10, 15 minutes. I just want to see if NVIDIA is going to have continuation and if the overall markets can potentially move back up and towards that gap fill. But key level for me now is just going to be this 177, kind of this down 177.75 here on NVIDIA. This one's showing strength while the market's kind of slowing down here, momentum slowing down just a little bit here on the SPY and Qs, but overall higher time frame structure is still intact. So you just like to see it now maintain above this key level. If you guys do have any questions, you guys can drop them in the chat and I will answer some as I maintain the rest of this position. Let's see. How would you not get stopped out on NVIDIA? Had that nasty lower wick before moving up 5 day. It's just because it held your previous day highs. You got to think about it. If it holds your previous day highs, what are we going to be looking for, right? That's the thesis. If we can maintain above your previous day highs, we can expect longs. When is your trade really invalidated? Right underneath your previous day highs. Right. If you can scale some along the way, then it's easier to hold this pullback because it maintains your key level. Think about it. If you don't scale at all, then it's a very good chance you probably get stopped out because you're looking at your P&L, but just strictly based off market structure and you're not looking at your P&L whatsoever. If we maintain above your previous day highs, we're going to continue higher. That's just how charts move, right? If you want to move higher, then you have to be above your previous day highs. If it's going to move lower, below your previous day highs. So if you were to look at this from just an overview perspective, obviously you can see now it's in hindsight, but if you weren't looking at your P&L, right, what was the reason why you're even selling as it's above your previous highs? Probably because you're looking at your P&L. If you sell some, right, that's one thing, right? You're able to hold on these pullbacks, and as long as it holds key levels, then you can maintain your position. Let's see. Let's see what time tonight. Stopped away. Neto always has one on Monday. What time? Let's see. Nvidia making a new high here as well. Contracts up nicely for the Qs. So far, the momentum and the market structure is still intact on the SPY and Q. So let's see if we can get this pop here. But for Nvidia, it's still similar to this 178. And then now we just like to see it maintain this 1 minute down close candle here. Stop was break below consolidation mentioned by Tony and Jack, ended up closing below that level. So if you're looking at this consolidation, that level right here was the break of structure. If you were to mark out right here, the break of structure level, right, based off this higher low, right, where it would have been? Most likely this right here, where it broke above, kind of on this wick. Right, so you have two levels. You have your previous day highs, and if you want to have a very tight position, which would have been this higher low key pivot level, it never broke below this, right? If you were to mark out this level right here, based off this move higher. So if you had a tight stop and you're just waiting for this candle to close right here, if you're maintaining above your previous day highs, you have that right there as well. So you can see this lower wick being put in. Big lower wick right here, signaling buyers are stepping in above where your previous day highs, still maintaining structure, and they end up having this nice continuation back towards the upside. Is it traders.separate membership? So that we have the accelerator, and then this is like then we also have the traders lab. That's correct. I see some of you guys asking about that as well. You guys can go into the announcements channel. That's why I don't change my stop mid trade. It doesn't usually work for it. So it's a trailing stop. So a lot of times it's just managing your positions. If you want to manage it really tightly, then you would cut it as it broke below this 1007. If you want to give it a little bit more room, you can manage it on the 5 minute time frame, or you can wait for the 1 minute break of structure, which still currently it's still holding up these higher lows on the higher time frames. Let's see, what's the maximum amount of trades you recommend being at the same time? You can take, if it's the same thesis, then it's fine, right? It's a little bit harder when you're trading something to the long side and then you're shorting something. But if you're trading both the names that are the same thesis, it's a little bit easier to manage your position. Thoughts on this? Didn't you enter around 290, selling at 285 for Hive Day? It feels like it often happened to me where Hive Day is only 10 to 20 cents. Yeah, so the first initial ones, I barely took any off on the first initial ones on the 177s, but now you can see they're at, right, 330. And I still have some. So let's see if we can have continuation. But basically, right, 10 to 20 cents. At the end of the day, this is probably going to be around like a 1 to 2-ish, right? Once I probably close it, it'll be around a 1 to 2, right? Some trades at Hive Day, right at the very start, contracts weren't moving that much, but we end up getting a nice move later. Sometimes they're going to be greater than 1 to 2 if it hits the TP 3, 4, right? You're going to have nice continuation. Sometimes if it hits High Day, comes back, then it might be like a 1 to 1 or maybe even smaller. Pre-market retest is gold. Nice. Let's see, let me scroll down here as well. Let's see. Predetermined risk. Let's see. Perfect Jack. I think some holding scales from out here. I do look at my P&L, and that's why I keep taking profits out and closing too early. Too busy watching P&L versus chart and structure in itself. Exactly. You gotta think about it. The P&L has nothing to do with the chart. Right. What matters on the chart is what's actually on the chart. So if you're looking at your P&L and you're selling just based off of your P&L, then right, it's going to be very difficult for you to even hold positions whatsoever, just because it has nothing to do with that, right? Just whatever the chart's in front of you. If you were to trade without your P&L or without looking at it, then it's going to be a lot easier because all you're focused on is the actual, right, price action, right, how the candles are moved, compared to if I was to look at just a number that's going up and down, then it's going to be very hard to hold through pullbacks or anything, just because now you're more fixated on your P&L and not the actual chart. All right, SPY and Qs popping here, as I mentioned, market structure is still intact. Let's see if we can get a candle close. A nice pop here on SPY. Let's see if Qs can make a new high day here as well. NVIDIA definitely slowing down just a little bit now with Qs popping. NVIDIA, we'd like to see make a new high of day. which is going to be your 178.10. All right, let's see. SPY and Q is kind of popping here. And Tesla coming back down. NVIDIA kind of slowing down here as well, with kind of Q's popping. NVIDIA key level is just going to be this 177. Shall we look at P&L to help with scalping? Were you able to, let's see, were you able to explain what the 177.5 key level was? 177.5. 177.5? That was your gap. The 177.5 was your gap from a couple of days ago, right? Friday's close. So that's a very key level. Shall we look at P&L with helps? No, you shouldn't be looking at your P&L whatsoever, right? Obviously, you have to manage risk, whatnot. But generally speaking, when you're in a trade, you should be focused on the chart and you shouldn't be focused on your P&L. So you can take a glance at it, or the easiest if you don't look at it whatsoever. But if you're going to manage your risk, right, usually you can take a look at your P&L every once in a while. But the less you look at your P&L, the less you're going to be fixated on the actual number amount, and you're going to be more focused on the actual chart, which is what matters. Do you have a predetermined risk? Sometimes options move way faster than levels. Yeah, 10 to 20% normally. If you're risking more than that, most likely you have a bad entry. Would you consider making a YouTube video on how to set up and measure, review your key performance indicators and journaling? Yeah, we have that as well. And then also we have, we talk about journaling. We also do have the TradeZilla webinar that we hosted for the accelerator, which was really good. Someone came in from TradeZilla itself, talked about all the KPI indicators. You guys can go watch that. That's recording in the trade recap. So far, NVIDIA is trying to defend this 177. SPY breaking above. Now let's see if we can maintain above this high of day. And then Qs, let's see if we can get this pop here. Do you ever add once it comes to your entry? Only if it's like a higher time frame thesis, right? If I have a A+ setup or a higher time frame thesis, then I might look to add. But normally speaking, I'm just going to have one entry, stops, and then I'm going to have scales as well. I'm relatively new here, first time live. Awesome job, Jack. Glad. Let's see. Glad you're able to catch that. Jack, which IBCare app do you use when taking place? It's just a regular app. So I think there's only one version, the mobile app that you have. That's what I'll use when I'm traveling. But normally I'm on the TWS. So yeah, with SPY here, momentum, as you can see, starting to slow down within the past kind of 30 minutes. We're still very much bullish. Higher time frame, so the market structure is still intact here on the 1 minute time frame as well, but definitely slowing down here, at least on the SPY and Qs. As for NVIDIA, most likely just going to cut the very small amount that I do have left if it breaks underneath this 177. We'll see kind of the reaction. I'm still maintaining, like I'm still bullish here on the SPY and Qs if you can maintain above this 562, at least on the smaller time frames. Of course, on the higher time frames, we have this gap filled back towards the upside. Would you consider entering Tesla? No. Tesla, it would have been the reclaim. That was the first setup. The reclaim, there's plenty of time, consolidation, kind of move after 10 o'clock. Similar thing with NVIDIA. I wouldn't enter here now as well. With the kind of the Qs, already had such a big push up and it's very close to that gap fill. I took some Amazon puts. Is it a good idea to swing them if they close below Friday's lows? For Amazon, this one is fairly weak. Actually, Amazon looks pretty good. I wouldn't swing them, but if they hit your key objectives, then I would take some profits. Maybe I wouldn't swing a full position. Maybe you can swing maybe a 10th or 20% of your position. But for Amazon, this one looks good for continuation down and towards your previous day lows and potentially below here. So you can scale some along the way, and then maybe if it just continues dropping, you can hold a portion of your position. Let's see. When have you ever entered Tesla? Tony entered on the reclaim. That was this morning. Yeah, we took those trades this morning. How are you able to execute fast? New here, wondering how I can automate or preset order to enable faster execution. It's just using the book trader. So I click one button. I already have the contracts pulled up. It's in the modules. All I have to do, I'm already looking at it beforehand. So if I already understand the setup and what I'm looking for, all I have to do is just click one button and I get in. Right, instantaneous basically. So far, SPY and Qs is trying to still defend that 562.29. The rectangle, let's see, what's the rectangle box? That one is just an order block. All right, either previous day highs, previous day, they're just key levels. So I like personally drawing key areas and price. Right, Tony usually just likes drawing out levels. I usually give it a little bit more room just because of order blocks and whatnot. So I'll have boxes drawn out, but it's the exact same thing, right? Key levels of support and resistance. Yeah, someone mentioned that underneath as well. Let's see, is there any reason, do you have any videos on chart setup? Yeah, that's in the modules. Amazon actually just hit your previous day lows. So far, Qs is bouncing off this 562. NVIDIA still maintaining. 5 minutes still looks good with the overall market here as well. Let's see if now Qs can potentially make a new high of day. Initial bracket, is your initial order on IBKR bracket order? No, I personally do all my orders mentally. They're all mental orders. You can have bracket orders set up as well, like OCO orders. You can do that as well. But I personally, majority of my orders are always going to be mental. But yeah, seems like was most of the questions. For now, with the SPY and Qs, yeah, I'd just like to see maintain key levels. Still looks fairly good for a push up and towards that full gap fill here on both the SPY and Qs. Great way to kind of start off the week. Tony will have this trade recap uploaded for you guys. I'll have this live session uploaded for you guys. And we have traders live tonight with Neto. We have other things coming up as well, which we're super excited to announce in the Discord. And yeah, that's about it. So I will call it a day here. I'm just going to manage the rest of this position. If you do see anything else set up later into the day, we'll let you guys know. And as for NVIDIA, at least, the next level is going to be high day plus this 178.60s. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Does anyone have any questions that I could spend a couple of minutes trying to fill in the gap? There was one question in the live. What was meant by selling some or taking a little off? So I'll go over that really quickly. Let me pull up the chart here. Oops. Okay. Let me make sure everyone can see this. Oops. All right, so I just want to talk briefly about some of the lingo that they will use in these types of sessions so that you can become more familiar. You're welcome, LJ. You're welcome. So very welcome. Yeah, so, and if you all want, like I said, this replay will be available instantly as soon as I end the live. All right, it will be available. If you're already in the free community, you already know where to access it. For those of you who are not in the free community, if you want the replay, just DM me and I will send you a link to the replay. All right. So to answer the question that was asked in the live chat on another platform, the question was asked, what do they mean when they say take a little bit off? All right. And so I talk about these in my pre-market prep every day. So what do they mean exactly? Well, let's take, for example, we talked about the number of contracts that you can afford based on your budget. So if I pull up, let's do a thorough explanation, right? So if you take a look at these contracts for, let's go to NVIDIA since we're using NVIDIA. All right, the contracts that he bought was 177.50, 177.50, 177.50. All right, and those contracts, each contract costs 300, currently $315. So one contract will cost $315. But let's say you can't. Let's say you have three. Let's say you have $400, right? Let's say you have $400. Well, you can't really practice scaling or taking a little bit off if you only have one contract. That's why in my pre-market prep, I talk about where you would look to exit your position if you're only able to afford one contract. But let's say you have $400, you could look to take the contract below it, the 180s, all right, the 180 strike price, all right, because each of these are 192. So you could have bought two contracts instead of one. So in this NVIDIA example, all right, we were waiting for the retest and for buyers to step in, If you bought two contracts, let me activate my drawing tool. If you bought two contracts, let's say here or at the close of this candle, right? You bought two contracts of NVIDIA, $200 each. Your total position is 400. What you want to do is scale out of the position once so remember, let me point this out too. This is high of day, right? This is the high. What is high of day? After the open, when the market opens, um, we want to draw out the highest point the price rose. Okay, the highest point the price rose. All right. So for NVIDIA, the highest price would be 176.70. 176.70. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So we mark out high of day. We're waiting for the retest. We're using the break and retest strategy. So we're looking for the break and retest setup. Okay. So that essentially means we're looking to break above some key level. We're using the 5-minute opening range, which we have indicated here. This is the 5-minute range, the 5-minute high, and we close it off with the 5-minute low. All right. So we're waiting for a break above. Since we're trending up, right, we're waiting for a break above the 5-minute high. And so once that happens, we're waiting for a pullback towards the 5-minute high. Again, it doesn't have to touch or tap the 5-minute high line exactly. It just needs to come near it. That's perfectly fine. What we're looking for is speed and momentum. So we're looking for these candles to develop very, very quickly. Whatever time frame you're on, we are using the 1-minute time frame. So every candle that you see represented here is 60 seconds in duration. 60 seconds in duration. So it takes approximately 60 seconds for a candle to complete to move on to the next candle. All right. If you have questions about that, let me know in the live chat. But if you bought two contracts, remember I just talked about it here. If you, instead of buying just one single contract, because why would you want to buy two contracts? We could talk about that also, but let me finish the explanation and then I'll come back and talk about why you want to buy multiple contracts instead of one, right? All right, so you bought two contracts, the 180, it was 190 at the time. So you could have bought two of them, right? You would have bought two contracts. You would have got in on this candle here. You could have got in while it was developing or when it closed. All right. I want to make that clear. You could have got in as soon as you see speed and momentum of buyers stepping in and this candle starting to form very quickly. That's when you could have jumped in. All right. Or you could have waited until the candle closed. That's perfectly fine. Once you get momentum, look at this nice bullish candle, right? this next candle, I mean, it developed very, very quickly. If you were watching this live, you would have saw how quickly this candle formed, right? Buyers were stepping in very, very quickly. And so you would have scaled, this is high of day. You could wait until you reach near it, tap it, or even break above it, okay? Sometimes it'll snap, it'll hit it and then snap back. So you got to be ready. You have to have your trade confirmation screen ready to go to sell. So I'm going to pull this up. Let me go ahead and pop this open. So this is the trade confirmation window, right? It will look similar, but this is what will pull up since I have the position. Actually, let me just go ahead and pull this one up instead. So once it's selected, you have your two, pretend this is 2 instead of 20. All right. So once you have your contract selected, once your order is in, all right, you want to quickly click on close. You want to click on close, right? That's what I did. I clicked on close and get your order to sell ready. All right. So you click the review and you should see send depending on your platform. I'm in Think or Swim. I'm in Think or Swim. All right. So you want to have your order screen ready, because these candles, when this activity happens, it could happen very quickly. And if you were on during the live when this candle was forming, it did kind of snap and then kind of pull back a little bit. But then it actually ended up closing above high of day. So that was great. But we had to wait. We had to wait until it closed. But it did snap here and then pulled back. So if you have one contract, you would want to exit your entire position here. All right. If you entered here, or here, you would want to exit your entire position if you were only able to afford one contract given your budget. Okay. You would be risking losing the entire position. What's the entire position? Well, remember, if you bought one $170 contract or one $283 contract, you would be risking the entire $180 or $280 contract if you stay in. All right, because in one candle you could be wiped out. All right, look at these bearish candles. In one candle you could be wiped out. Right, this could have easily dropped all the way down and below. If we take a look at Tesla really quick, you can see a better example of this, right? Look at this candle. In one candle, this is on the 1 minute chart. This is 60 seconds. So in one candle, it could completely take your entire position and kick you out of the trade. So that's why they talk about, because what is the reason you want to scale out? You want to protect the money that you gain. You want to protect your position. Your goal is to make money, not lose money. So this is the way you protect your money, all right, and allow yourself to stay in the game as long as possible. You need to stay in the game as long as possible, right? You need to stay in the game as long as possible. All right, so one contract, you get out here. 2 contracts, you sell one. That's 50%. 50% of your position, you leave one trailing. All right. So you sold one contract here at high of day and you left one contract trailing. So you would have captured that gain. You would have captured that gain, right? Within this one candle, secured some profit. If the candle begins to move against you, if the stock begins to move against you, meaning you're trying to capture more upside, but if sellers step in to push the stock down against your position, then you would have secured some of those profits, and you would have noticed you would have been able to sit through that pullback, like this pullback here. All right, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles pull back here. 4 candles. All right, so I was in this position. So I was able to sit through this. All right, I was expecting some pullback. All right, this was a nice push here, so I was expecting a little bit more pullback, and we had that. I was able to sit through this. So I reached as high as let's say $150. Since I actually was in this position, I could tell you real numbers. I reached as high as like $150. $150. And when I had this pullback, it took me all the way down to 65, I think as low as 60 or $59. $59, I think it was, right? And then we started to push higher, right? We started to push higher. By the time we reached a new high of day again, I was up, 125, 130. And then by the time we hit this point, I was up 170, $170. All right. That's why you want to scale out. So I scaled out at high of day. I bought 10 contracts and I sold 4. So I sold 40% of my position. I had 6 contracts remaining at high of day. I sold 4, which equates to 40%. I left 6 contracts trailing, which equates to 60% of my position still trailing. All right. 6 contracts, AKA 60%. 6 out of 10, right? So when I went through this pullback, my position went from 125 down to 60. So I lost almost half of what I gained. So I locked in some money. And then when I went through the pullback, I lost half of it, right? So I was now at $60. Then I got back up to like as high as 170 until this pullback. I like to give it 2 candles after consolidation, only 2 candles. That's me, right? That's me. You heard Jack talk about it in the Q&A just a moment ago. It depends. You could keep a tight stop loss and you could have exit at the close of this candle. And that's what I did. I got out at the close of this candle. I only give it 2. So I waited to see what this third candle was going to do. As it started to push lower, I exited all 6 contracts for a total net profit of $135. Okay. Net profit of $135. Now, had I stayed in, I would have kept a little bit more money, probably would have made like 200, a little over $200 with those other 6 contracts. All right. So does that make sense? That's the reason why you scale out. When they talk about take a little bit off, they're talking about your overall position and the numbers they like to use. This is also, let me point this out really quickly. This is also available in the replays folder, right, that I made available in the free community. If you go to this, let's just click on it really quick. All right, so this end of the week Q&A with Jack. This was Saturday. He answered a lot of questions that new traders have or newbies have. And so this replay is available in the replay folder. For those of you who are not in the free community, feel free to just DM me and I will send you a link to access the replay. But if we click on this, you can see there's timestamps. So you can easily click on the timestamp and navigate to your specific segment that you're interested in, right? And so we talked about things like scaling up trading, withdrawal strategies, position sizing strategies. So this is talking about like what to do. He was answering these questions, and he answered several of these questions or similar questions in that regard. So you have access to that. All right. Let's see. I think the other question was why buy more than one contract? Well, that's the goal. You want to leave trailing contracts because they begin to grow exponentially. Unless, like I said, for me, I exited my total position here on this third candle. Because I don't like to sit through more consolidation. So, you might have to wait a little bit for the stock to recover, all right, and push back higher. So it just depends on your preference. For me, I would have liked to see continuation right after the second candle, like a nice aggressive push higher right after the second down close candle. But since we didn't get that on the third candle, I exited the total position to lock in my gains. All right. Any other questions? This replay will be available as soon as this live is over. All right. So if you're in the free community already, just go ahead. You know where to go. If you're not, just feel free to DM me for the replay, and I will send this over to you. So we'll have 2 replays for today. We'll have the replay for the pre-market prep that I had earlier. And then we'll have this live session where you were able to observe my mentor trade, the break and retest strategy. All right, so that's it for me. I'm going to call it a day if you all don't have any additional questions for me. Brilliant says, you covered everything. Thanks for today's knowledge. Yeah, so we're going to keep the sessions with my mentor on Monday. We're going to move it from Fridays to Mondays because I noticed on Fridays, Scarface is typically on the text channel where he's texting what he's doing versus on the live channel with Jack, because some people are at work or they're in a position where they can't listen to the audio. So they requested that one of them be available on the text channel in the community to let them know what they're doing, like when they're entering trades and what they're looking for and so forth. So, but on Mondays, both Jack and Scarface is typically on the session. So I figured it'd be best to just move it to Mondays. Then you can watch the replay and just study it for the rest of the week. And if you have questions, you can just reach out to me and I can forward those over to them if I can't answer it. LJ says, once again, thanks for everything, Ace. You are so very welcome, LJ. So very welcome. All right, everyone, if that's it, that'll conclude this live. And I'll see everyone next week, Monday. Remember, we will be doing mock trades on Wednesdays, live mock trades on Wednesdays. So that'll give you an opportunity to study what you learned today from the replay, and then be ready for a live trade for all of us to trade together during the live session on Wednesdays. Okay, the schedule is available in the free community. All right, so I made that available in the schedule channel. All right, so every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't catch that, feel free to tap in for the replay. Just DM me if you need access to that. All right. All right, everyone. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. I'm glad that you are here and just trying to learn and position yourself to grow your money. So right now, I'm going to drop the mic. It's your man Ace. I'm out. See you all Wednesday or Monday. All right, later.